Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective. We'll be talking a little bit about the Prime Minister's two-day visit to Turkey and the fact that, of course, it's supposed to highlight bilateral ties between Pakistan and Turkey. And, of course, we hope that this partnership, this relationship will reach higher levels of cooperation in all fields. The Prime Minister spoke today during this visit. He's also inaugurated the third of the fourth Pilgrim covert ships for Pakistan's Navy's PNS Khyber at the Istanbul shipyard. A little later on, we'll also be talking about the political situation as far as the current the steps, it seems, olive branch that seems to have been offered to the PTI leadership. We saw earlier on with Rana Sanawalah's when he spoke to the press earlier on today. We'll be talking a little bit about that. We'll be talking about the political scenario after the major key appointment that happened yesterday, and whether there will be perhaps a very welcome change in the style of politics. Also, the former Prime Minister Imran Khan is likely to address his followers tomorrow in what he has been terming as Hakiki March. What will be the ramifications of that? All of that today on Perspective. I have with me Rana Maqbool Ahmed, who's Senator PMLN. Thank you for joining us today. We also have with us Barrister Humayun S. Chattha, who's a legal political expert. Thank you for being with us. And Naveed Aman Khan, who's a columnist and also an analyst. Thank you for being with us. Ji, I'm going to start with Rana Saab. Ji, Rana Saab, as far as this, what can we term it as? We saw Rana Sanawalah's speak earlier on, and he talked about perhaps the former Prime Minister and his party should work towards coming back to the assemblies. Do you see this? Of course, it's a welcome move in the sense that we have from time to time debated whether it would be better for the former Prime Minister and his party to return to the Parliament and to perhaps address their issues within Parliament. There is, of course, their whole narrative, which is now solely seems now solely to be talking about early elections. Do you see this? Do you see them following suit? Do you think that there are likely chances of that happening, or do you think there's more agitation on the cards? Ji, Rana Saab, can you hear me? I think there's a problem with audio. I'm going to go to Barrister Humayun S. Chattha. Ji, Barrister Saab, can you hear me?
Yes.
Ji, I'm the same question to you. As far as the political scenario at this time is concerned, there has been a lot of antagonism. There has been a lot of, we've seen fiery exchanges. We've seen, things aggravated to considerable heights recently. But do you think that it's likely that those temperatures will come down now? How do you see things?
I think in the coming days, I see some stability in the political environment of Pakistan, especially as far as political parties are concerned, because I think the instability was caused because of some powerful, I would say, segments. Now, I think stability will come, and the political parties will try to gain as much benefit as they can from this, from the current scenario. And the basic question is that considering the current economic situation of Pakistan, I think stability is the need of the hour. And especially the political stability, if we'll be able to attain
on that note, Barrister Saab, I'll come back to you. I'm going to go to Rana Saab again and see. Rana Saab, can you hear me now?
Yes, it's loud and clear.
Ji. Rana Saab, Ji, I think, Ji, as far as this whole, how do you see things? I mean, as far as the political temperatures are concerned, as far as the overall political scenario is concerned, do you see the former Prime Minister and his party's return to the parliament? And also, do you think that there's going to be, it's likely that there may be a working relationship between you and the opposition now?
Yes, sure. Maharukh, you might remember many times we discussed this issue about that time his unyielding attitude, and he was not prepared to understand and prepared to receive anything from the government side.
Right.
I think no, it's a renaissance of sanity and sensibility, and I personally think that it's being realized that it was not a correct conduct. You might remember many times I mentioned it to you as a student of this phenomenon. This was my firm opinion that he'll have to come to the assembly. There is no choice for him because situation is like this, and it's not possible to topple the whole system for your own purpose. And I think his own people are also telling him, including the president, that he has to return to the assembly. That's the only solution to the problem. Then sit with them and negotiate and have parleys, and maybe you get something, and final decisions are maybe it come to be concomitant with your own opinion. So parley is the basic instrument and the basic tool to resolve the issues.
What about the call for early elections, which seems to be now, it seems to be this other demand that the PTI is now again talking about again and again. This seems to be the high point of their, what can one say, their, this seems to be the demand as far as the PTI is concerned. They're solely, their narrative now has come down and boiled to that one center point, which is the call for early elections. Do you think that is also something you would like settled in the parliament? How do you expect, how would the government react to that demand? Because we've seen a clear no from the government earlier on. We've also had repeatedly the Prime Minister, including other ministers, including, as far as the government is concerned, categorically state again and again that there is no chance of there being early elections.
You might have observed today the Interior Minister talking about this, and he said, well, once we get down to parleys, there could be changes in the program, and we can sort out the issues after the appropriate level of negotiations. Date can be changed. It is not absolutely inflexible phenomena, but let him sit on the negotiation table. And if he tries to shake hands with his peers and with his political brethren, the situation will change. And President is also working that sensible enough, because there was no solution to this problem other than this. And finally, I think
won't it be difficult for the former Prime Minister now to sort of go back on his narrative? Not that it hasn't been done, but in your opinion, don't you think it'll be difficult for him now to say that, well, he said he doesn't agree with the parliament, he doesn't acknowledge the parliament, all of those things, to now go back on all of that?
He has to. He doesn't have any choices. By saying this, I don't acknowledge the parliament. It doesn't mean parliament doesn't exist. It's a supreme body. He has to acknowledge that. So maybe it was just snoggering, and he has to get back to the real facts. And his party is also putting a lot of pressure on him to get into negotiations with the government. There's no other choice. So he'll have to come to the parliament. And the previous government, he came to the parliament after 6-7 months. Now it's also almost 4 months he's out. So he'll be coming to the parliament. There's no other solution, because this is the basic principle of democratic process, that we listen to the people, and generously we listen to the people. So once whole of the nation is saying that you get back to, I'm sure his own peers are not supporting this notion of the former Prime Minister, including the President. So it's now foregone conclusion. Within a week or a fortnight, he'll be getting back to the system. And as far as the new setup is concerned, we are so lucky. It's not blessing in disguise. It's blessing undisguised. Because now we'll be purging ourselves of that allegation as people like the American president's wife, Hillary Clinton, used to say, Pakistan is a deep state. Pakistan will cease to be a deep state. It will be a genuinely healthy state. So this is a great step which has been taken in the right direction. It's a historical step. And therefore,
Yes,
I
for a
see
little
a lot
bit.
of light at the end of the tunnel, despite the economic constrictions and economic difficulties. But I'm sure once
Right.
the scene changes
Right, Rana Sab,
and
I
there
will come
comes
back to you.
in.
Let me go to Naveed Aman Khan Sab. Ji, Naveed Sab, I don't know if you've been listening to Rana Sab, but he's saying that this is a very welcome change in the sense that this might be a chance for the former Prime Minister and his party to sit and come back in the Parliament. Overall, considering the political scenario, in your opinion, also the recent statements that have been exchanged back and forth, what is your overall assessment of the situation?
Oh, well, in fact, the parliament is supreme, and it is the only uh, institution where the parliamentarians they come from the entire country. They sit over there, they discuss the issues, either the national or international issues, and resolve them. Um, Being the parliamentarian, PTI leader Imran Khan and his associates, they decided to come out of the parliament. It was very undemocratic behavior or decision. You cannot decide the national or international issues on the roads. Um, you always confront national and international issues, but you will have to come in the parliament and join hands, discuss the things, and resolve the matters, either national or international. Uh, uh, I mean, uh, in Rawalpindi, what Imran Khan will gain from his procession today or tomorrow in Rawalpindi? It looks aimless. So I don't
That's an
think
important
any aim.
question. I think that statement you're saying that it's rather aimless. Do you think that it's a way for him to garner his support base? It's a way for him to continue to hold on to what he perceives as his electoral support, to mobilize them. Isn't that true?
No, Imran is creating problem for himself and for his associates, for his voters as well. I mean, it's not a ground reality. Pakistan is
Okay.
facing multiple challenges, national and international challenges. Imran Khan has never given any program or any schedule or any system. How will he or how will Pakistan confront and resolve the issues? Since he has left the government or he has been thrown out.
In the interest, do you think that it's important to the former prime minister at this time at all, as far as issues are concerned? Because we've only seen a politics of agitation, we've only seen a politics of criticism, we've only seen a politics of name calling. There doesn't seem to be, any kind of a fruitful exchange that has come from the opposition, any kind of a fruitful alternative to any crisis at all. Isn't that true?
I mean, Pakistan needs reconciliation. Pakistan cannot further afford any sort of confrontation at all, and we can only resolve our issues by joining hands, by discussing the things in the parliament. The government or the PDM government should invite Imran Khan or his associates to come over and join their hands in the parliament, discuss the issues, and strengthen themselves. We need to take care of all these stakeholders. The suggestions of a PTI should be regarded, highly regarded. If they want to resolve the issues of Pakistan or the nation, they will have to come in the parliament and put on their suggestions to the PDM government. And I don't think the PDM, if they find the wise suggestions from Imran Khan and his associates,
Naveed
they
Sahab, let me
they
come
will.
back to you. I'll go to Barrister Humayun. Ji, Barrister Sahab, what about legally speaking in terms of the by-elections? There have been some, by-elections announced on some seats. There are other seats pending. How will it work legally if the former Prime Minister and his party agree to come back to the assemblies? Will it depend upon the status of the resignations? Have they all been accepted? What do you see, perceive as the legal scenario?
I think law is very clear on this matter, and there is no, I would say, confusion. If the resignation has already been accepted, which I don't think so, because National Assembly hasn't announced anything like that. So considering that he's still the member of National Assembly, and he has won other National Assembly seats. Considering if they accept his resignation, he will again become the member of National Assembly. So legally speaking, I think there is no problem in these by-elections.
How can his resignation not be accepted if he's already contested in by-polls? So of course his resignation has had to have been accepted for him to contest.
No. Law does not stop him from doing that. That's the problem with law. I think that was the debate very recently, that law should be made which regulate how the elections can be contested for the parliament, whether you can contest for 1, 2, or 3 seats at the same time. And when you are already member of a assembly, either you are a member of National Assembly or either you are a member of Punjab Assembly, and again you are contesting for National Assembly seats. So I think that there is an inherent, I would say, confusion which exists in law that needs to be cleared out by the parliament.
And correct me, okay, so just for understanding, and if you are a member of National Assembly or if I am a member of National Assembly at this time, I can still contest on other numerous seats.
So that's my understanding of law. Yes, law does not stop us from, or stop the member of National Assembly from contesting another election.
Okay, fair enough. Let me come back.
In my opinion, if any person, any member is in National Assembly or in Provincial Assembly, should not be allowed. I mean, there should be some work on the Constitution. Should not be allowed to contest elections again when. Provided he is already member.
Certainly, there's some debate.
Because
like,
it is a wastage of time, and wastage of money, and
it should be like that. It should be like that.
It should be, but at the time, what the law is, and as I understand, according to you, it is that can be done. Ji, let me come back to you. I'm going to go to Rana Makbul Sahab. Ji, Rana Sahab, we saw the presser by Rana Sanaullah. Do you think that again, like I said, as far as this Jalsa is concerned, we saw what Naveed Aman Sahab said. He said that it seems rather aimless. There doesn't seem to be. Do you think that, what do you expect from this Jalsa tomorrow? What do you think the former Prime Minister would say to his followers tomorrow when he addresses them? Do you expect it to be more, is it likely to be conciliatory? What is your expectation? What does the government expect?
MAHRUKH, I expect it will not be as derogatory as it used to be. And I think he will not be as gravely provocative as he used to be. Okay. He is also now understanding the situation and the implications. His all demands which he used to vociferously disseminate to the people and to the government were not accepted. He wanted that the chief should be appointed as far as he thought somebody else. It never happened. He knew the background. Everybody knows the background. He thought he'll go and get the date for elections. He couldn't get. So there is only one way out, that he thinks it seriously and talk to the people and talk to the people in good sense. And I think he'll woo the people, try to persuade them to continue doing the same thing. But he will, inwardly, he is retreating from his demands. And you might have observed his statement. He said, maybe the elections are after 1 year, doesn't matter. So I think he is now amenable to listening to the issues properly. And that crisis, I personally think, is partly over. He'll not
Rana
be able
Sahab,
to charge the atmosphere.
Do you think that as far as his support base is concerned, if he decides to go back to the assemblies, we saw how the president met with the former prime minister, and then the summary went forward, all of that. And I think most people were, applauded the fact that this was something that was done in a mature way. The president conducted himself in an exemplary manner in this case. As far as the overall scenario is concerned, in your opinion, do you think that if the former prime minister now talks about going back to the assemblies, he talks about the fact that now he's willing to talk to this government, it will be taken as with a sigh of relief, even within his own party, even within his own members, who in fact came into the parliament for a 5-year period and have the agitation, of course, has been as far as this whole Hakiki Azadi that he's talked about. It was whatever it was targeted for seems to have failed. Is that true?
You're absolutely correct in your analysis. I personally think he really could not understand the situation and its complications. He was very optimistic then once he made a slogan and everything he'll be able to get. No, he has put utmost endeavors to achieve anything he couldn't. Therefore, I think he, as I've already mentioned, is amenable to understanding. And maybe he doesn't announce publicly that we are getting back to the assembly, but in house he has already started talking about. And his own parliamentary party, they are saying, let's go back. It's wasting time and wasting energy. And the tired people are feeling of this purposeless struggle which they have made. It has landed them nowhere. So therefore, I think especially the president is contributing a lot, and all of us should appreciate him. He wants there should be an atmosphere of amity and understanding. And let's work together. And finally, once the election commences, then we must test our mettle, whether we are popular with the people or not popular with the people. So this is a continuous struggle. Nobody has the permanent right to stay in power. If he deserves, he will stay in power or come back to power. He doesn't deserve. If he doesn't deserve, he will not. So that is the clear decision of the people we have to make.
Right.
So
on that note, thank you so much for being with us, Rana Maqbool Ahmed Saab. Thank you for your valuable time. We'll be taking a short break, after which we'll come back and talk about which direction politics is likely to take in the next couple of weeks. Please stay with us.
An encyclopedia of Pakistan television. He is Khaja Najmul Hasan. Khaja Saab, thank you very much to have joined us.
Thank you so much.
You've seen different decades of PTV.
King of Ghazal Mehdi Hasan, and King of Ghazal Ghulam Ali, and King of Kings of Qawwali Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, and I have worked with all of them. She looked into my eyes while I was talking to her, and she just signed up. हम उसके पास जाते थे मगर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता. PTV is my home. PTV is my family. PTV is a place where I meet all my friends, old and new.
Right, welcome back. Ji, Basti Sahab, as far as, barring any legal lacunas, whatever they may be, as I understand it, we've been talking about this, the current legal situation is that, the resignations have not been accepted on most of the seats as far as the PTI is concerned. Were they to return, as far as the political scenario is concerned, what is your opinion as far as the narrative of the PTI is concerned? Do you think that the PTI at this time? Do you think that their voter, how will they react to this development, in your opinion?
Maruf, I think the most important thing is it is about the or understanding of the democracy actually. And an epic of democracy and parliamentarian system is the parliament. So I think our politicians need to learn that parliament is the
Ji, can you hear me? Ji, Naveed sab, as far as, let's talk about the same question to you, as far as the narrative is concerned. The former prime minister has built his narrative on this, on the factor that he doesn't acknowledge this government. He doesn't acknowledge this parliament. He doesn't believe that they are honest, in his opinion. He doesn't want to work with them. He doesn't want to even acknowledge their existence. Don't you think his voters will, be taken aback if he decides to go in another direction now, or do you think that they're waiting for it?
In fact, Mahrukh, Imran Khan has always created problems for himself, and in politics as well. In sports, yes, he has been creating problems for himself, but now he is in the politics. He will have to come in the parliament to address the issues, national or international issues.
But Naveed sir, do you think he wants to, as far as issues are concerned, do you think that there is any real, I wouldn't want to presume anything, but what is your opinion? You think that there is sincerity as far as, trying to, deal with issues is concerned? Because, as far as floods are concerned, as far as economy is concerned, rather than just blatant criticism, which we have seen, which has ensued from the opposition, but we haven't seen any concrete alternatives come forward, anything other than, the kind of backlash that, that's been offered as far as the opposition is concerned.
Pakistan is facing different problems, and Imran Khan has given baseless and fake narratives to the nation, to his voters. From those narratives, he has backed out. In his own speeches, he has confessed that his narrative about America and conspiracy theory, the letter, the other many narratives were fake narratives, baseless narratives. And he says that let's bury the hatchet and come forward. Yes, we say that we need to bury the hatchets, and being the parliamentarian, the politician, he should be very serious, and he should come in the parliament, sit down, discuss the issues with the parliamentarians, resolve and behave like a politician to resolve Pakistani matters, and to steer the to steer the nation to the safe harbors, to pull out Pakistan from economic issues, from political issues, from diplomatic issues. Pakistan is in trouble as far as its diplomatic matters are concerned. Pakistan relationship with China are suffering. Pakistan relationship with Saudi are suffering. Saudi Crown Prince was planning to visit Pakistan, and because of this instability,
you're saying
and
that
chaos,
we should work towards, as
Pakistan.
far as Pakistan is concerned, as far as our relationship with other countries is concerned, as far as stabilizing the situation overall is concerned, towards political stability, of course, will translate into economic stability then.
Absolutely. Once Pakistan is politically stable, Pakistan will gain economic stability, because the investors, the other nations like Saudi Crown Prince, he was to come to Pakistan and announce multi-billion projects for the development of Pakistan. Where are those projects? So we have sabotaged his visit. I mean, it is very unwise in 2014, he sabotaged the visit of a Chinese nation, Chinese president Xi Jinping, and now he has sabotaged a visit of MBS. I mean, this is very unwise behavior. As a politician, as head of the party, and as a statesman, he needs to behave like a statesman. I mean, he is not behaving like a politician, a responsible politician. So I don't think that he can gain anything being on the roads and being in the processions. I mean, what will he gain from Rawalpindi? He will deliver his speeches and he will go back. What will he do then? I mean, he will have
what
to.
do you think he's going to tell his Ji Barrister Saab, I'll come back to you. Ji Barrister Saab, what do you think he's going to tell his followers tomorrow? What is his likely address going to be?
I think the basic purpose of this whole exercise will be to make himself relevant in the current scenario. I think he will try to charge his supporters and voters and will try to create the scene that elections are, I think, in the box. And which in my view are very much in these circumstances, it is very much possible that government will go for the next elections. I think at least in the next in the coming year, in the first 2 or 3 months, I think they are going to announce for the elections, considering the current political scenario of this country. But as far as Mansa was saying, I'm also of the view, considering the current regional situation, I think stability is vital for Pakistan. Whole world is looking in a perspective that is beneficial to their own country. So Pakistan should be in a position to garner as much, would say, benefits from this situation as Pakistan could. In our neighbors, on one side is China, on one side is India. So we need to develop a situation where we can get maximum benefits, and that will only be possible with the political stability, and that will give rise to the economic stability. So I think all the politicians should learn or should try to resolve their issues and to come to an agenda which will make Pakistan a strong nation. That's, I think, public is very much clear on this. They need economic stability, and I think this propaganda which is being raised by a particular party will slow down in the coming days because public will soon learn, when the economic stability will come, that these slogans are not going to give them anything. It is actually the economic stability that matters at the end. And
when we talk about economic stability,
in fact, MAHRUKH, in fact, if we just have a look on China, China has sent its space mission, his mission in space, and so is doing India. We are pleasing because of our such attitude. We are pleasing Indian nation, and I don't think there is any wise decision from Imran Khan to continue on the roads. If he wants to continue, he will have to come in the parliament, just parliament. Parliament is supreme and the issue resolving forum. So there he should give his input. How we can steer Pakistan out of the marshes and out of the difficult situations.
Right, Naveed Saab, even otherwise, considering the situation overall, as far as economic challenges are concerned, we are also, dealing with the situation post-floods. That's also a very real crisis that Pakistan has gone through. And we're not done with the rehabilitation phase, all of that, which will take many, many months. Overall, for any government, and so the government has been dealing with challenges on multifarious levels as far as the overall situation is concerned. For
Yes.
any government to sit outside like an opposition and to call for early elections, all of that may be easy. But it's not going to be an easy task for any government to deal with these real issues, crisis, all of that. And the former Prime Minister earlier on, during his earlier tenure, there was other critical issues as far as, governance, as far as economy is concerned. There were multiple issues there. And, when they earlier came in, there was a lot that was said about having economic plans in place, having development plans in place, and all of that didn't really go that well.
Yes, Pakistan is because Pakistan is in deep and real trouble. All the politicians can pull Pakistan out of these crises. The calamity Pakistan has faced in the shape of floods, the economic debt, the bad relationships with the different countries and the nations. Pakistan, in fact, is not in the workable
because we've recently
situation.
seen, there's been an upsurge, a positive upsurge as far as our foreign policy is concerned. We saw what happened as far as, during the COP27 meeting. That's certainly a huge step forward as far as Pakistan is concerned, as far as our proactive foreign policy during this government is concerned. The tenure, as during this tenure, this development of acknowledging this debt relief because of climate change, all of those things are a positive. But we know that as far as the situation overall is concerned, there are challenges for Pakistan. Barrister Saab, so it won't be easy for any government, like this government at this time is grappling with issues on so many fronts. And to come out and sit out and call for early elections may be easy. But when it comes down to it, it's not going to be that easy to steer things.
I think the political situation of the country demands that. That's my reading of the current political scenario. And you are right. If the government is, I think, achieving a lot on the foreign policy front. Recently, today I read an article from The Economist where they praised, I think, the Federal Minister Shiri Rahman. She has been able to raise concerns about climate change. I think that these are the issues which need our attention and which need the attention of our parties. And we need to understand that nobody says that these economic or the political challenges, I think they're very huge challenges and they need huge efforts. So that is the point where political parties should come and sit and devise ways where they can reach a solution which can take Pakistan out of this current political imbroglio, and that is, I think, it will be the major achievement. The reconciliation which you are talking about, which we are talking about here, will really be achieved if political parties and all the concerned quarters they sit together and then they devise a way to make Pakistan economically stable. I think that is my understanding. I don't say that Imran Khan shouldn't demand early election, that he shouldn't oppose. My question is he should, I think, use other forums. He should come to parliament. He should raise his voice in parliament. Rather, street agitation is not benefiting Pakistan in any way. It has not benefited, I would say, even the subcontinent, it has not benefited. When street agitation was took over, it was because the population had no forum to raise their voice. Now we have multiple forums, we have media, we have social media, we have parliament. We can raise our voices. I think we should use more peaceful
Fair
ways to
Thank you
address
so much for being
our
with us.
concerns.
Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have. Thank you for being with us, Barrister Humayun. Thank you for joining us. Rana Maqbool Ahmed Khan, thank you for being with us. Naveed Aman Khan, thank you for joining us today. As far as the overall scenario is concerned, certainly It will be a welcome development if the former Prime Minister and his party do decide to return to the Parliament. Of course, what he says to his followers, we will know tomorrow during his address, which he is adamant to make as far as the former Prime Minister is concerned, and perhaps a new direction in politics will be is what we are waiting for, as far as a politics, instead of a politics of agitation, a politics of reconciliation, where debate can be within Parliament rather than outside, where politics is centering within the Parliament, where that House of Parliament can be empowered enough to reach concrete measures and work towards a stable political situation, which can then translate into economic stability. Thank you so much for joining us today on Thursday.